welcome back to our lovely space. If you are just joining us for the first time, you are more than welcome. Please consider subscribing and click on your bell notification icon, that way you get notified when we release a new video each week. Obviously, to my returning subscribers, thank you guys so much for clicking on the video and coming to listen to me rant. Today we're talking about the similarities between the UK and South Africa. So basically, is the UK overrated? Can these two countries really be compared? You get to find out in the course of today's video. Alright, so for context, I lived in South Africa for about 8 years plus. Moved out with my family in 2021 and we have been living here. So I'm just basically comparing my experience living in both countries. So South Africa for 8 years plus and the UK for 3 years plus. Okay? Please, nobody should come for my jugular in the comment section because I'm just sharing my experience and my truth. Okay? South Africans, I come in peace. UK people, I come in peace. I'm just sharing my experience, culture shock, similarities and whatnot based on the two countries. Okay. So obviously the first point has to do with the legislation and the mode of governance in this country, and South Africa is basically similar, which comes as no surprise because obviously the British colonized a lot of African countries, and you kind of see that replicated across several African countries, my country, Nigeria in particular. So you see this kind of duplicated across this country. So yeah, the mode of governance, the style of governance, talking about the parliaments, all of that is sort of similar. Obviously, another striking similarity is the dominance of the English language. In South Africa, they have 11 official languages, of which English is one of them. Obviously, because of colonization and all of that, but based on wherever you stay, the language of the indigenous people in that area is very, very key. As a matter of fact, as a foreigner, if you don't understand the language of the indigenous in that place, you might struggle a lot because that's the predominant language. Even though everyone understands English, they might not speak it to you. In formal settings, English is predominantly used. So for schools, higher institutions and things like that, you mostly hear English. I did an undergraduate course in South Africa and some of the lecturers tend to code mix or code switch from English to Zulu because I stayed in Durban. So yeah, you kind of get that mix sometimes. Another similarity is their love for their sports. In South Africa, they are big on rugby and cricket and obviously football. Here in the UK, it's no different. They are very big on football and rugby. I think cricket as well. So yeah, I think it's a worldwide thing because everywhere you find men or people who are passionate about sports, you will find fanatics for one particular sport or the other. Okay, so another major similarity is the fact that both countries are multicultural in the sense that you have a lot of foreigners in the country. So in South Africa, where I stayed, Durban, it was like a holiday destination area and it was beautiful there. So you get a mix of people. So from Dutch to other Africans to South Africans themselves to a whole bunch of people, like you see the Chinese, Indians. There's just a wide mix of people. Like there's a diverse group when you talk about the demographic of people in the countries. It's not different to where I am right now. I mean, I even still spoke Zulu to someone today. Like there's a wide mix of people here in the UK and I think it's quite good. It's good for exposure. I mean, if you have children, they get to mix with other nationals, experience other cultures while being in one country. So yeah, that's one thing I really love about these two countries. Another similarity is the fact that they both drive on the left side. So for those who have been following my journey from South Africa here to the UK, it's one of the things that I have enjoyed is the fact that I have not had to do the UK test because I just converted my South African driving license to the UK license because we drive on the same side and the test is fairly the same. So I just converted my license as opposed to writing the British test, which is, let's not talk. Okay, so yeah, I didn't have to go through the stress twice. It was one of the things that I was so grateful that I did, even though it was not easy at the time for me. I made sure I passed my driving test before I left South Africa and I just got to convert my license and continue driving here when we got into the country. So yeah, and also from what I've heard from people, the test is somewhat similar because first of all you do a written test before you go on the road. But in South Africa, they have something quite different from what they have here in the UK. In the UK, you write a written test. Once you pass it, then you do the road test. But in South Africa, you do the written test. You have a yard test. If you don't pass the yard test, you cannot get on the road. As a matter of fact, if you fail the yard test, it's back to square one. So you although you obviously pass the writing test, but you have to redo everything again. So yeah, I think it's a little more complicated. If I'm being honest, it's a little more complicated in South Africa than it is here, because there is a yard test, and that's where you have the alley docking, the 3-point turn, and your parallel parking. So all those 3 things, you must pass them before you then get to the road. So yeah, somewhat similar, but I think it's a bit challenging in South Africa, if we're being honest. Yes, another similarity that I absolutely love is the banking system. It's somewhat similar. I mean, the structures are there. It was quite kind of easy for me to flow into the UK system coming from South Africa, because when it comes to managing your money, the debit and credit system, all of that was really easy to understand and comprehend. The self-service that you get online, you don't have to be or go to the bank physically for everything. Most of these things are automated, and it was just really easy coming from that system and flowing into the UK. So this next point is the weather. The weather is somewhat similar, although it's colder here, but I would say that the weather is kind of similar in the sense that the Nigerian rain, I don't know if you've experienced it before, but if you've experienced the Nigerian rain, it's very aggressive rain. It's very hard and fast, and that's it, it's done. But you see the South African rain and the UK rain, they're like brothers. They don't normally finish quickly. That rain can go on for hours, and it can be so annoying and destructive, to the point where it can just start drizzling, and it will drizzle and drizzle for hours. And I find it so annoying, to the point where when I got into this country, it will be drizzling, and in my Nigerian head, I'm thinking, okay, I have to wait for this rain to finish before I can step out. I'll look out the window and see my neighbor coming out with his rain jacket or even normal clothes, and is walking because he has to get from point A to point B. And in my head, I'm like, it's raining, sir. But no, it's normal life for them. So that's one thing I don't like. I really don't like the weather, but it is what it is. So last and final point is obviously your bills and the general lifestyle in both countries. So in South Africa, our bills were paid monthly, which is basically what we have here in the UK. So it wasn't strange that you pay your rent, your water bills, electricity bills monthly. Coming from Nigeria, we cannot do that. We pay our electricity bills per month, but when it comes to the other bills like rent, it's per year. So you pay for the whole year, like at the start of the year or when your rent is due. In South Africa, it's per month. So your child's school fees, electricity bills, water bills, your council bills, all of that you pay per month, and it's basically the same here as well. So yeah, those are some of the points that I'm able to highlight. If I've forgotten anything, please remind me in the comment section, because I don't want this video to be too long or too drawn out. That is it for the similarities between South Africa and the UK. Now, is the UK overrated, or is it somewhat the same, or can you really compare the two? I would say you can't really compare them, because if I'm being honest, the life in South Africa is not so fast. It's not so fast, like it's not fast paced, it's not draining, it's very laid back. You have work-life balance there. But here is different. It's really not the same. It's really not the same, because if you don't watch it, you can lose yourself. It's really easy to slip into the system and just get sucked into the rat race. I spoke about this in my last 2 videos, in either this video or this video. But if you haven't seen any of those videos, I highly suggest that you watch it. If you are looking to come into the UK, or you know someone who is looking to come into the country, it's worth sharing. That's what I think. Anyway, you guys, I will see you in my next one. Now, if you have further video suggestions, please let's carry on the conversation in the comment section. I do my best to respond to every single person. Also, like this video if you found it helpful. It does a lot to help my analytics and also get other people to see this video. So yeah, that's it. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.